Hello traders, welcome back to the Rich Spirit channel. It's me, Krasmir Panayotov, and we are ready to make the new edition of the weekly Forex analysis. Special for you, not for me. Okay, also for me because I also plan my setups on these analysis. So let's get started, guys, and let's make this money. Peace! In this week, guys, we have had very nice moves, and we are expecting similar moves and very nice trades to happen the next week. So stay ahead till the rest of the analysis, because we are about to make some motherfucking money this week again. So let's get started, guys. First with the Euro USD. And on the chart, you can see the daily graphic on the most traded Forex pair, and it is the Euro USD. So let's get into it. On the daily chart, you can see that we are still in a very strong downtrend. So what I personally expect here on the Euro USD is or a push to the previous resistance and rejection with a new move to the downside, or even now we can reject from this strong 4-hour resistance and go all the way down to 100. This is what I personally expect. I would love to see some pullback to the upside, maybe even to pierce a little bit this resistance, and then respect the trend line, respect the bearish trend, and continue to the downside. Yet we still have the danger to continue straight to the downside. So wait for the 4-hour sell signals, to the 1-hour sell signals, and all the other sell signals which you love to trade. And let's now move to the next chart, which is the GBP USD. And the Great Britain pound has been doing nice last week, pushing the tower and many other pairs. What do we have here? We have an interesting level of resistance, which if get respected, we will also continue down, and maybe this is the 8-hour chart, by the way. And if we do this, we will get back to the inside the weekly downtrend, which is good for us because we love to trade with the trend. This is the most profitable way to make Forex money. And the first target will be, of course, the 1.18 zone area, which is right here. Let's mark it up. If this doesn't happen, we have a lot of move to the upside, first to this high over here, and then all the way up to this previous resistance area. So this is a nice target for the buyers. And this is what I expect. Now let's go to the other charts, guys, and see. By the way, I have told you about this head and shoulders pattern on the 4-hour time frame last week, so I'm not sure if I shared the analysis, but here it go. We have a breakout here above the neckline, and we expect a move nearly as big as the size of the head and shoulders. Yet this is not the best head and shoulders that I would trade. But I caught some moves on it, some scalp trades, and as you can see, we have reached the 80% of the promised move. So we can consider this head and shoulders successful by the terms of breakout and potential targets. So now let's switch to some other pair, and let's see what's going on with the USD CAD and the European euro against the Canadian dollar. But first, on the USD CAD, you can see on the daily chart that we are in a interesting bullish trend. This interesting bullish channel is respecting its trend line since a lot of months, and now I'm going bearish with the trend. So we have a bearish trend, at least on the daily time frame. We have broken this support level, and that is why I entered the sell trade. We have had a couple of mixed signals. So first I was buying from this pin bar candle, then price started rejecting here, and I end up closing my trades and looking for a bearish opportunities. And such an opportunity came after this huge engulfing candle, which made another new lower low. And then I was waiting for another confirmation, and I entered after this rejecting signal on the 4-hour chart. So I let the price run a little bit, and it didn't go back, so that is how I end up in this trade. I have set my stop loss above the resistance area, and I'm ready now to move even my stop loss lower, because we are moving lower, and I expect the move to continue all the way down to this support area. Why this for me is a support area? Because this consolidation here, these highs over here, the low here, the lows here, and it was support for so many times in the past. Now, since we have these two rejecting candles on the daily time frame, I expect the move to continue to the downside all the way down to this support, and this is where I will take my profit on this trade. What about a bullish scenario? So as traders, we always have to observe and check out for other opportunities on the market. If we are looking for a bullish setup on this trade, we have a nice falling wedge on this chart. So if we break up this resistance right here, this trend line, and if we close above this purple resistance, then it probably means that the price is respecting the support. So we are still not, we still didn't break it actually. And this can be something confusing for new traders, but sometimes price do such lying moves. So if this happens, and if we continue bullish, we can expect a first target. Let me show you. First target is usually the size of the whole wedge pattern. So if we have such a breakout from here, we can expect the price to go all the way back to this high over here and test this resistance. If that happens, that would be a nice trade. Then if we continue above this little resistance, then we have then we'll probably move all the way up to this resistance, and then maybe probably make a higher high and continue with the bullish trend. But for now, I'm still bearish on this market until we break this wedge pattern. If we break it, I'll set my stop loss here, and if we continue bullish, then I'm out of this trade with a small loss. And this is how we do it. Now let's move to the Euro-CAD pair and see what exactly do we have there. First off, on the daily chart, we have had this beautiful consolidation pattern which broke out really nicely and gave us pretty big amounts of pips to the downside. I really did that trade and it was very profitable. But now what do we have? We have something like a double bottom forming, and if the price goes bullish from here and if breaks this neckline, then we have a chance to move nearly as much as is the size of this whole double bottom, okay? And And it's interesting because this will align with another trend line which is going on here. And this is where we will take profit if this trade happens. But for now, we still don't know. We still don't have the bullish signal. We need strong bullish signals and a couple of confirmations. This is how I usually trade. Now let's check some other pair, guys. Let it be the USD JPY or the Japanese yen. On this chart, guys, you can see that we have had massive bullish rally for a couple of months, maybe more. And currently we have broken the trend line. A nice trend line, which is not the best one because we have only 2 touches. The best trend lines have 3 or more touches. Now, what we can expect from this market? Well, I'll show you 3 scenarios. One will be a pullback to this previous resistance, respecting it, and continuation all the way down to the previous support. That would be a nice trade. And here you need to observe for a sell signal, and if such occurs, you can ride it all the way down. Another scenario I will give you: if we break this resistance over here, we can make something like a double top and then maybe some strong move to the downside, maybe to these previous lows. That would be interesting and a little bit awkward move, so I don't rely much on it. We have to wait and see what will happen. And the third scenario is, of course, bearish continuation until this previous support area. This is what I expect. Now let's see some other pairs, guys. Here yet there is nothing interesting, still bearish trend, but still we don't have the bearish signals, so here is a no trade game. Yet is possible to make something like a head and shoulders on this pair and have a little reversal to these previous highs and this previous super nice resistance. So this is a potential thing, but also not the best setup. We have a nice trend on gold going on right now. It's a bullish trend and it's going quite well. I could catch the initial breakout for this trade. So we had this flag pattern on the 4-hour chart. On the 1-hour chart it looks even better, if I can show you. So I have catch this breakout and wrote right. My English is so bad, but I wrote all the way up to this resistance, and here is where I took my profit. Now, as you can see, the price continued much higher than this, but I was enough satisfied and couldn't enter the next opportunities, which were great. Here you have a bullish signal. Also this triple candlestick pattern is also a bullish signal, the 3 white soldiers, and we have another one here, bounce back from a support level, and so many other confirmations on the way to the upside. Now we are stopping at the weekly resistance, so we will see what will happen here. Of course, it's possible to have a pullback, and it's also possible to see a continuation. We have 2 interesting resistance zones. One is here, matching with the trend line. On the daily chart, the trend line is nice, reliable, so we can respect it one more time. Or we can pierce this resistance, catch up these previous lows and the previous resistance, and from there maybe to return back in the trend. But if that doesn't happen, on the weekly you can see we have 2 very bullish weeks and a very nice bounce from a weekly and monthly support zone. So it's also possible the long-term scenario to chase back these previous highs, and in some fortunate moment of time to even break them and make a higher high or a ultimate high, all-time high. That would be nice. For now, on the monthly chart, you can see a very big wick and something like a pin bar candle going on. I want to measure the actual size of the candle. So it's a good pin bar. Not the best one, but if we have another bullish month, image candle like this next month, we definitely can try breaking these previous highs. And that would be solid, really. And we also have to not forget about the opportunity for a double top here on the weekly chart. So if the price does this pattern, if we break this support area, we can expect a strong move all the way back to these previous lows or even these previous highs. And that would be very nice too, because here we can find after 1-2 years a very nice support for another bullish rally. This is how market move guys. Markets move, guys. Okay guys, and let's check out also the US oil, and this is the other trade which I still hold. I was going bullish on this trade since we have had a bullish breakout on this triangle pattern. Okay, so I expect a move nearly as big as is the size of this whole triangle pattern, right? Let's imagine this is the size. And I expected to move all the way back to this previous high. But what exactly is happening on the 4-hour chart? We see a rejection. So the price rejected all the way, all the bullish move, and now is back inside the triangle, which means that there is a high probability chance of breaking this triangle pattern from the downside and going back lower as much as is the size of the triangle pattern, right? So if we apply this, here is where we can take profit. Now I have chosen another type of another level for taking profit, probably because of the daily chart and some support area that we have there. And it is true, as you can see here, we have a little support. I can even move down a little bit my take profit target. And that would be next week when the markets are open. On the daily chart, we see a pin bar candle, very nice pin bar candle, meaning rejection of the move to the upside. So probably we'll continue bearish next week, and that would be a nice trade because we are actually in a downtrend. And what usually happens when you have a triangle pattern on a downtrend is that most of the times it will continue bearish and it will break out from the bearish side. So this is what I'm waiting for, and this is how I'm gonna trade this chart or this instrument. Now let's also check in the S&P 500 and what we have there. On the weekly we are still a little bit bearish, even though we have a very nice bullish pullback. And now the market and its participants, including us, have to decide what should we do with the price. Should we go more bullish and recover this market, or we should ride with the current trend and go bearish all the way back to these previous lows and support zones? Okay guys, so this is all for this weekly analysis. I hope you got some out of it. If you're new to the channel, you can subscribe, you can click the like buttons. That's something which you already know. So I'm gonna wish you successful trading week. Follow your plan and don't over risk, don't over trade. That is the two worst mistakes which you can make. So wish you successful, happy trading, and see you in the next week. Peace. I'm out.
All I need is